guys, this is Red Dragon and May. Oh my god. Oh, Power Rangers once and always. Ranger. Like, oh my god. What in the world? This is awesome.
Messing with this place was a big mistake.
My god. This put out all the stops to be epic, and I had a great time watching. So many things I want to say. I don't think I'm going to get to them all. I'd be rambling at that point. But, oh my god, it's the ultimate thing where I can say this. First of all, it's almost like it took Power Rangers from of course, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and added a little bit of spices from Cobra Kai. That's something that I totally noticed. Yeah, and ironically, there are Cobra Kai Power Ranger toys out there, so I'll get back to that in a little bit, but yeah, that's the thing I noticed about it, is a lot like Cobra Kai, and I could honestly see a crossover between those two shows at some point in the future. Maybe not on Netflix, because Cobra Kai is going to be his last season, but it's not too far. It wouldn't be too far fetched with the Boom Studios comics to do Power Rangers and Cobra Kai, and have something like that with the Lightning Collection toys, as seen on the Hasbro Pulse live stream, by the way. But this was just too good, because it starts out with Billy. It's a cold open with Billy morphing and fighting against the putties and trying to get a hold of all the other Rangers, right? And so the other Rangers arrive. It's Jason and Tommy and Kimberly and Trini, and they're battling the putties as the teenagers of the Attitude do. Well, they're older now, since this is a continuation of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and also with a lot of putties and Robo Rita, who has been brought back due to Billy trying to bring back Zordon ever since what happened with Z-Wave. And then there's Alpha, and this is Alpha 8, and so he's trying to do it. Dark Energy ends up getting into Alpha 8 and ends up turning Alpha 8 into Robo Rita, and she explains to Billy that yes, that due to what happened, even with Zordon taking out all the villains from the first few seasons of Power Rangers, it only pushed out her evil powers. Her evil powers still exist, so that way it made it possible, with Billy not really knowing at all, it made it possible for her to come back. It made it possible for her to come back as herself. So yeah, so it's just Robo Rita. And and she's just as evil and quippy as ever. So just as the Rangers are battling against the putties, and even Robo Rita gets into the mix and starts fighting too. It's like, oh, that's a first. Since yeah, that's definitely a first, because she's fired energy blasts from here and there, but never really got down and dirty with the Rangers like that. Like, hey, that's the first. So that's pretty cool. So, but it stops. It gets a little somber real quick, because Rita fires a spell that's guaranteed to take out Rangers, and she's aiming it at Billy. But Trini picks up on it first, and gets to it, and it goes out. She goes out. She gets blown to smithereens. It's like. And it's like, what? It's kind of pretty violent for Power Rangers. They said they're going to get dark, so they're going to be mature. So Zach and Billy deliberate whether they should go ahead and tell Trini's daughter Min or not. It doesn't matter anyway, because she overhears what happens. And she understandably freaks out. So yeah, they're going to have to tell her everything. And so, Zach ends up living with Min, now being her, essentially just her legal guardian. They're going to head to Trini's grave and put the flowers on her grave. And so, but they take the Rad Bug too, which is really cool. That's really cool. But they end up but they end up running into Robo Rita once again. But instead, there's also Jason and Kimberly and Tommy. They go and fight Robo Rita because she's also brought back two monsters, both the Minotaur, which is the first monster that they was a Robo version of Minotaur, which is like the first monster that the Rangers used the power weapons on, and then they eventually brought back Snizzard. Snizzard is one of the monsters that actually was voiced by Bryan Cranston, and so, which is where Billy gets his last name from, which is really cool. It is really cool. But so Jason and Tommy and Kimberly, they all end up trying to fight the Snizzard, but they all end up getting Snizzard and Robo Rita and Minotaur, and all three of them end up getting captured and miniaturized by Snizzard's weird magic. Got no choice but to leave since they're getting overwhelmed, since they're a lot different, since Snizzard and Minotaur are a lot different. So they end up having to leave. Rita disappears with her new little machine, which I'll get to that in a sec. I've been saying that a lot. But for the most part, it's like they end up having to leave and they end up having to fly with the Rat Bug as it done in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So they return back to Min's and Zach's place. So Min tries to get on Billy and says that it's his fault because but like I said at the beginning, he didn't know that Rita's dark energy was still out there after the Z-Wave, whereas he was really trying to get into contact with Zordon. So that cut deep. It cut real deep. But also it's just because Min really wants to go after Rita. But it's just not quite. She's not quite there yet. Not quite the range of power yet. Meanwhile, Rita has captured even more. Has spent a little time using Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly to start draining their energy, and so she needs more Rangers, and she gets more Rangers. In fact, I got a glimpse of them, but I think I saw this, but I do believe that they use these Lightning Collection figures for captured Rangers, because they got Leo, they got Kai, and they got Damon. They got Devin, Ravi, and Nate from Beast Morphers. Merrick from Wild Forest. They got Tanya, and then they got and then of course they got Jason and Tommy and Kimberly. Little post editing here. They actually got. There was also Connor, and there's also Trent from Dino Thunder. Yeah, so they were also captured Rangers as well. So that's a little something. I had something completely different I said, but yes, those are the other two Rangers I saw. Something else that I noticed is that they use old audio clips of Trini and Jason and Kimberly and Tommy. So yeah, that's just a pretty simple way to get that, to kind of address that sort of thing. And I thought that was pretty cool. But on that flip side, both Billy and Zach have to go to the command center. With Alpha 9, they have to go ahead and get other Rangers to come in. And those two Rangers are Kat and Rocky. So they let them know what's going on. They know it is not a drill. It's going down for real. So yes, so Billy has been working on extra powers, on top of the active powers. So it's kind of a slippery slope, kind of teeter-totter, but it allows Rocky and Kat to morph in order to become Power Rangers again. So yes, because they have been. On top of that, Rita's also sent an entire swarm of putties all around, which I go back to when I was talking about the captured Rangers. This is due to the fact that Rita has sent out an entire swarm of putties all around the world. So the Rangers end up sending out distress signals to all of them. So I got a little mixed up. I really just wanted to talk about the captured Rangers, because it's like, oh, there's a Lightning Collection figures. Those are slightly modified Lightning Collection figures. So yeah, I totally And I just really wanted to talk about it. Don't hate me, because I love it. And just remind me, I just need to try to get more in the future. And you know what? It would have been interesting if they had also had the Street Fighter ones. That would have been an interesting little twist. I would. That would have been a big old surprise since this had a crossover with Power Rangers, or even the Ninja Turtle Power Rangers. That would have been interesting too. Since yeah, it's kind of a commonplace thing for Ninja Turtles to get in that pretty much a crossover with anybody, and already done it with Power Rangers. So why not do it again? This time with morphed turtles. So yeah, I thought that would have been really interesting. But hey. But yeah, Kat and Rocky are able to use their powers again, despite the fact that Jason and Kimberly are using Red and Pink Ranger powers, respectively. And so, they're going around. However, the thing is that Minotaur can find them. Minotaur can find the Rangers at any time that they're morphed. And so, it's just, yeah. So, they're having to power down and find ways to help people. Well, this includes Min too, because she ends up going to the juice bar, and so do Rocky and Zack. And so it gets this epic fight scene with Zack doing hip hop keto,
Time for hip hop keto.
doing his thing, and just being Zack. And he's in his 50s, and he still got it. It's just masterpiece Zack, man. Yeah, and then Rocky still got it too. The man's a tank. He's kicking butt. I mean, he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It would have been cool if he got to show off some of that. Like, would have been cool. That was a fun fight scene, and of course the recreation of the juice bar is just cool too. Zack and Min end up having a heart to heart because at the same time that Min was trying to fight the Putty juice bar, she's trying to use a morpher. She's trying to use Trini's morpher. It wasn't working. It just wasn't. It wasn't having the players weren't having it, so she kind of got messed up in that process. So her and Zack have a little heart to heart about that, what it means to be a ranger, and yeah, it's just like getting back up. No, it's not just about the power, not about the suits, it's not about the cool weapons, the swords. It's not about that. It's about doing the right thing, and sometimes that's difficult. And but for a ranger, it's got to be done. Later on, with the knowledge that the Minotaur can find the Rangers by being morphed, Billy and Rocky and Kat go to the junkyard and prepare to catch both Snizzard and Minotaur with a giant electromagnet. And at the junkyard, they do so using special cloaking devices. And Min steals one too and ends up getting caught, but they're using them. They end up having to use them to go to Rita's Moon Palace and all kinds of stuff like that. And so take on the putties. So eventually, and like I said at the beginning, that yes, that there's totally more to it. That Rita is going to use her machine to go back to the day of the dumpster to tell her younger self the day she was released from the dumpster to pretty much tell her everything and make her invincible against the Power Rangers. But there's so much more to it. So she ends up trying to attack Billy with the same spell that killed Trini. But Min jumps in the way. She gets hit, but take the hit. But she still had Trini's morpher on her. Min had the morpher still, and thus her act of selflessness was able to have the power and gave her the power to access her Ranger powers. So the Rangers finally end up morphing, and also break out the power weapons and just pretty much go full ham on the putties. And Zack goes full ham on the Minotaur, and eventually, yeah. But Rita pulls Snizzard out, and then pretty much makes him grow, while still activating the time machine. So Billy and Min end up getting the Megazord, and it's essentially just shot for shot of the Megazord transformation, but it's a little different, a little CG. Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. That is probably gonna. If I was to watch it again, it's hard to say because but it's because I'm so used to the suits and stuff, the big old bulky suits. But I really like that it was like shot for shot of how they did the Megazord sequence. Uh, they even drive with the power crystals. They even more in the cockpit, and that's the neat thing about the Once and Always is that it's like no, not even a lot of it's not. It's almost just about completely original. No Sentai footage except that of Day of the Dumpster. But just that, but before that, just as Rita, before even the Megazord fight happens, just as Rita is getting ready to jump in the time portal, and she's distracted, Billy just up and just stabs her, just up and stabs her with the power lance. It's like, oh man. But also, after they end up going to Megazord and fighting against Snizzard, that and also because they end up stopping the machine, Zack destroys Rita, and that destroys Rita with a Power Axe blast, and yeah, that's it for that. And so, all the other Rangers, all the captured Rangers, they said they're taken to Aquitar with Cestria, where, if you remember, well, that was where Billy had to go in order to change back into his regular self. That's all. That was a whole thing on Zeo that wrote him off, because it's like, that's a neat way, because that was something that I wondered when the Once and Always was announced, and David Yost was a big part of that. How are they gonna bring Billy back? How are they gonna bring Billy back? Even though I guess it's simple, even just make it simple. Because I remember hearing David Yost in interviews talk about interviews and panels and stuff like that. That he would like to do, like Billy has like a family from on Aquitar and stuff like that. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, that's a really cool little nod to it. And then, of course, now Min has Yellow Ranger power. She gets a blessing from Aisha, and it's just she gets another Yellow Ranger blessing from Aisha, and there's man, it's just too good. But then eventually they add the Min ask about. I mean, cause other than that, because there is the one scene where Min she gets the morpher. Now she needs Access Ranger power, and it's just like this wonderful little tribute to Trini, to Tweet Train, like how what she meant to that was like I felt like that was just a really good thing. It was a really neat thing to do. Just like the little montage of clips of Trini, just doing her thing as a Yellow Ranger. Yeah, she's a fun character. She's a fun character, a really neat character. From that was Tweet's character. That was somebody that she embodied. Seeing like those videos of like that people talk about who Tweet Train was as a person, and said that she was Trini. She really was. She embodied that character. So yeah, that was a sweet moment. But it is even sweeter towards the end because it's like if you remember season 2 of Power Rangers where Kimberly and Zack were singing the song for Tommy, because it was like after they defeated Guitardo, and they did the picnic on the inside, and then they just like pretty much jamming, and they just did it for Tommy. And it was just like this little sweet tribute to both Tweet Train and JDF. And I'm not gonna lie, it got really emotional because it's really special. That is just really really special. But that is definitely the 30th anniversary special was absolutely awesome, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And I'm gonna have to watch it over, and I'm gonna have to watch it more. I'm gonna have to watch it again. It's just so much. It's so much goodness, and I have fun watching it. It might not be all that we want. It might not be like the most amazing thing in the world. Maybe it's the most amazing thing, but but I had a great time watching it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that had a great time watching it. Like I said, like I've been saying, it was gonna hit different, and it most certainly did. Let's see, just a whole bunch of just goodness in there, from start to finish. I think it was just a wonderful 55 minutes of just Ranger goodness. So many references too, like too much pink energy is dangerous, the Vulcan skull. There's like the little, like I was mentioning before, there's like a mural where like the where that's for Trini. There's all the different pictures from different spots. Like I noticed there was one that was the cleanup club from the one from Power Rangers when they did the recycle when they're doing recycling. They had wear the green shirts, but they still wore like the color pants for the Rangers, and that was a neat little nod. Like Cranston Tech looks exactly like the command center. It's like, poor Rocky. He was there when Billy brought him into the command center. He didn't get to finish his noodles, and like he didn't get to finish his noodles. Like it's like, wait, what are you doing, man? You gotta come back and finish my noodles. You gotta fuel up so you can have enough proper energy for Ranger power for Ranger business. So it's like, yeah, he didn't get the. That very much made me laugh. So yeah, it was really cool to see to get a more of a continuation of the characters for because yeah, Cat and Rocky were on the Ninja Steel of the 25th anniversary for Power Rangers Ninja Steel, and didn't really get to do that much because the emphasis was still on those Rangers. But even though it was still about them too, so yeah, it was really cool to get to see Cat be because she's been two of her Rangers. She's been OG Pink and Pink. Well, but then you have to think about the Super Mega Force, the Mega War, because like there was a Pink Ranger there, so that so technically we could say she's been all three of her Rangers. So yeah, I thought that was really. I genuinely think that's a really cool thing. And then it's the second time Rocky's come back to the series too. And it was then the biggest part for me was to see Billy and Zach as having at the forefront of all of it, especially Zach. Just him being like a fun character, like he's always been, and Billy being a fun character, like he's always been, and Min was awesome. She's like super cool. And now, like, what will my question is will we see more of her in the future? Because I know some people have been saying that she'll show up in an episode of Power Rangers, Cosmic Fury, or either Cosmic Fury or Dino Fury or something like that. I have to double check. Uh, but yeah, she was a fun, she's a fun ranger. She's a cool character. It's essentially like, just next gen rangers. I really liked her, and, just overall, for me, yes, this special was very, very, very special. Like I said, it hit different. It just, so and of course, like I mentioned in the previous video, I talked about the once and always that this very well could be what we could see in the future when it comes to Power Rangers, like like the more mature Power Rangers stuff like that in the future, and yeah, excuse me, I'm all for it, and that's pretty much all I got to say. I'll be rambling at this point. There might have been a thing or two I might have missed. Please very much connect. Please, I welcome any discussion about it in the comments down below. But on that note, I've rambled enough. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn your post notifications. You know if I post another video. I'll see you in the next video. Because this is delicious. Peace.